there goes Daniel Jones. Touchdown, Giants.
Here comes Allen. Looking long. Throws to the end zone. And the ball is caught. Oh, look at the Cowboys, a little trickery. Wilson's going back to Prescott. And it works. What a play for the touchdown.
Mahomes stops, spins, flips it forward for the touchdown to Edwards-Helaire.
That was like a peck. Not his dad.
Have a good game.
Playoffs? We'll talk about playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
This is WHPC Sports Talk.
With that, welcome to the Tuesday edition of WHPC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College. 90.3 WHPC. That was some wild card weekend, fellas. Giants won. Eric's over there with the sly grin on his face.
I woke up smiling. You can hear me?
Yeah, okay.
I woke up smiling. I woke up with a nice grin on my face.
Yo, so Eric. So I caught, if you're wondering why Dak Prescott played so well yesterday, I caught some pregame audio. This is Michael Irvin. We got exclusive WHPC audio, right? This is Michael Irvin before yesterday's game.
So, listen to everybody. Nobody believes in you. What are you prepared to do about it? Don't let no one come into your house, take your meal, do what you need to do today. I'm not nervous. I'm just telling you.
Exclusive.
Come on, man.
I can confirm that.
Michael Irvin. I try to be like him when the Cowboys win games like this. I try, but you can never be like that man. Like,
nah,
he's all for something.
We all got a little Michael Irvin in us, if you want to take that however you want to. But 516-572-7440. That's the number to dial. Giants fans, we ain't forget about you. I know Sunday was 2 days ago, but we're still going to go all access into that big win in Minnesota. But we got to start last night, Monday Night Football. And I was saying this pre-show, I swear if you would have just watched ESPN, Fox Sports, Skip Bayless's show, even though I refuse to watch that, you would have sworn that the Buccaneers were like the greatest team this year. They went like 14-3, 15-2. Nobody was going to stop them. The Cowboys were big underdogs. It's in Tampa. Stephen A. Smith had all the gear on, looking like an undercover cop. But if you watch the game, Eric, it's like just knowing football, take all the narratives out of it. That's how we would have expected that game to go. The Buccaneers were 8-9. Like, the Cowboys have all the talent in the world. Dak Prescott struggled a little bit, but it's how we would have saw the game going.
Yeah, I mean, you look at how both teams played this year. I mean, you compare an 8-9 football team to a 12-5 football team. If this wasn't the Cowboys, they would have rolled it off. But since it's the Cowboys, you got to change the narrative a little bit. They wear the star on their helmets. They play one bad game. Oh, they're not going nowhere. But then you come out and play the way you did last night. 5 touchdowns. How many yards? 305 yards.
He was amazing last night. I got to give credit where it's due. And we all love to pile on Dak Prescott, whack Prescott, like LaShawn McCoy, that's his favorite quarterback.
Oh, yeah, let me see what he has to say today. For the haters that talk about next week, oh, you play the 49ers next week. You got to give us the fair chance to beat them. There's no way you can't go, because we're a football team. They're a football team. You know what the goal is. You want to win the game.
Right.
But let's just watch how quick the narrative changes, especially after this game. Watch how people are going to start pushing the Cowboys in. Oh, they might be Super Bowl contenders.
And I've said this all year long, they need two things to happen. If they just, Kellen Moore, just keep it simple on offense. I like that the Cowboys had 128 yards rushing. A lot of that came from Tony Pollard. Even Dak Prescott, that's the key for his game too. If he can use his legs a little bit more. When he was a rookie in 2016, that's what he really got in the habit of doing. That's how he kind of burst into the scene.
He had the clock in his head, and it seemed like over time that clock started to fade away. But in certain situations, in certain games, he thinks like, all right, I gotta have this clock in my head. If I don't see nobody, I have to go, because you know the pressure is coming at you. You don't have the 2016 offensive line, and even then, you had the 2016 offensive line, and you had that clock in your head where it was just like, it's time to go, get that first down. And he played with toughness yesterday. Like, he got up after a tackle and shoulder pads was all like messed up, and he still went out and played. He had the grass in his helmet.
Yeah.
Played the whole drive. I mean, that's what I love to see. That's Cowboys football. You know what I'm saying? And listen, this is our first playoff win since Seattle in 2018. Listen, after that game, I'm not saying we're gonna go all the way, but you have to give us a fair chance.
I agree with that. And you brought up their first playoff win since 2018. How about their first road playoff win since 1992?
That's another They started talking about all these Tom Brady stats. Oh, he's 7-0 against Dallas. Oh, he hasn't thrown an interception in the red zone since 2019. There's a first time for everything. There has to be a first time for everything. And I was just like, after those first two drives, I was like, all right, the defense is stopping them. As long as we can get the ball moving down the field, we don't even have to rush down the field. Dink and dunk. That's Dak Prescott's game. 5 10-yard passes.
That's what it needs to be.
Down the field.
That's what it needs to be. The Cowboys, and you look at the NFC as a whole, and France and Brady, we're going to welcome you in here. Like, just the NFL playoffs as a whole, yeah, but the Giants in the Eagles game too. Cowboys 49ers, and I know quarterback-wise, it's not what you expected. You have Jalen Hurts, Daniel Jones, Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, but
the next GOAT.
Apparently, that's how he's playing. He had 4 more touchdowns on Saturday. So, just the NFC as a whole, I think even the Giants, even the 9-6-1 Giants. Am I crazy for saying there's a plausible way for each team to get to the Super Bowl?
No, you're
not really with how this season's been.
Not. The NFC is wide open. It's been wide open the whole season. Even with the 49ers, the way that they started, they still picked it up. They're on an 11-game win streak, I believe, right now. 11-12. Like I said before, this is the first time for everything. The Chiefs did it where they won, like, I think 12 games in a row into the playoffs, and then they won the Super Bowl that year. But, you know, it's hard to do that because teams start to figure it out. I mean, they have the weapons, but if you can contain Deebo Samuel, then you put it on the back of Christian McCaffrey. It's like you can stop one. There's no way you can't stop one. And Brock Purdy, he was a little shaky to start that Seattle game. So we're going to see how he plays on Sunday. But listen, the NFC is wide open. Anybody has a chance.
I can't believe with the Giants in the fold and the 49ers on their third string quarterback that we're saying that. I think most people would have put the Cowboys and the Eagles in the playoffs if we go back to the start of the year. I think most people would have done that. But the fact that we're here now, and it's kind of refreshing as a football fan because we've watched Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, and I want to spend a couple minutes on him.
Oh, boy.
So I don't want to pile on. I don't want to be toxic today. I know it's Toxic Tuesday, but I really don't want to be toxic today. But this man wins the Super Bowl first year, comes back for the repeat. You know, you got to try it. Loses to Cooper Kupp and the Rams on that last second play. Matthew Stafford, great throw. Retires. All right. Great career. 1-6 in New England, 1-1 in Tampa Bay. That's it.
Could have rode off into the sunset.
You have all the passing records. We don't need anything more from you. This man is going to come back, destroy his marriage. That's an important point. He destroyed his marriage to come back for an 8-win football team that got destroyed in the home playoff game. How does Tom Brady look right now?
Stupid.
Not too good.
Stupid.
Dog water. Very stupid. I mean, you think about how quarterbacks go out. You look at the Peyton Mannings of the world. He went out with a Super Bowl. You had the chance to do that, but no, you got greedy. You said, oh, no, we got another year to do this. No, every team got better that next year. The Rams got better. The 49ers got better.
Packers are right there.
Exactly. So you got greedy. Just retire at that point. Now you're old, and it's going to start taking a toll on your body because now you don't have an offensive line, and it starts to take a toll on you mentally, too, because now you're starting to think like, I can't do this, and now you got to retire right here. Like, you didn't have the greatest season in your career, but it's up there like with some football players. Like, they wish they could have that type of season, but for Tom Brady, for his status, it's not that good of a season for him.
Nah. Tom Brady, I mean, he set the standard so far above going 8-9 and having a losing record and having to go into the playoffs. If a home playoff game, yeah, but a losing record. I mean, his stats this year, 4,600 yards, 25 touchdowns, 9 picks, 90.7 rating. He hasn't had a rating that low since his last year in New England. And I said he destroyed his family. I mean, there's a clip of him, kissing his mom and dad, walking off the field. He's a kisser. He's definitely a kisser. He's not a hugger. He's definitely not afraid to get down and dirty, as you heard in that intro. But Tom looks crazy. But yeah, the old guard of kind of Rodgers, Brady. You're seeing some new young blood, not just in the NFC, but the entire playoffs. Mm-hmm. I think I saw a graphic where it was every single quarterback left is under the age of 29. Dak's the oldest one.
Yeah, he is. That's
crazy. But I love to see it. Finally, some fresh blood in the NFL playoffs. But yeah, that's the story on the Cowboys. I kind of want to get to the main takeaways from last night's game, aside from what we already covered. I thought it was surprising when they said Jason Peters is going to be at left tackle. They're going to move Tyler Smith, their first-round pick, to left guard. I was like, whoa, hold up. That's kind of a wild adjustment to make in a playoff game in Tampa, but it worked out for him. Definitely worked out for him as we have a caller. First caller of the day on WHPC Sports Talk. Caller, who are you? Where are you calling from?
Frankie from Flushing. How are you guys?
Frankie, what's up?
Frankie.
As far as Tom throwing away his marriage, honestly, I really think that marriage was over probably a year or two ago. I mean, anybody that would do that knowing the end, you're going to throw away your marriage. I mean, I think it was over, and he just wanted to play football anyway. Plus, I mean, this guy, he's 175 years old. I mean, he was old 2-3 years ago. I mean, Dallas beating them really wasn't, a star, no pun intended, on their, on their shoulders. I mean, they're an 8-9 terrible team. Dallas misses 4 extra points.
Yep.
They didn't play their best. So they played great defensively, I thought. I just don't think Dallas is as good as they are. Like, I didn't think Minnesota was as good as they were, and the Giants proved that. I said they would beat them. I told you guys they were going to beat them, and they beat them. And I really think the 49ers are going to put a hurting on Dallas this week.
Dang.
They're hurting.
And I think the Giants are going to beat, and I think the Giants are going to beat Philadelphia. What do you think of that?
You called, you know what? I think it was last Wednesday. You were saying, I don't think you officially called it, but you were saying, like, Philadelphia doesn't move you. And I kind of agree. Like, they peaked. I'm telling people they peaked too early in the year. Now, they might still win.
Said, yeah.
They might still win, but I just think, even Jalen Hurts injury or not, they peaked in, like, week 10. That's not what you want out of a Super Bowl caliber team.
I agree. It's always the team that's playing the hottest towards. It's like anything else, like in hockey with a goaltender. The team with the hot goaltender at the end of the year wins. Look at the Philadelphia Phillies this year. I mean, they played hot at the end of the year. They got to the World Series. Not that the Giants are playing super hot, but I think they've got it figured out. And I think Philly, they lost a couple of games there towards the end without Hurts. I get it, but Hurts was injured. And then I think they kind of brought him back because they needed that number 1 seed. And you know what? As I said the other day, he played against the Giants B team, and they beat him by 6 points. They didn't beat the tar out of them, where they should have.
I hear you.
I'm not feeling Philly. I'm not. They haven't been a hot team towards the end. I called the 49ers from way back when, and I think they're still going to represent the NFC, and I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. But I'm not feeling Philly, and I'm definitely not feeling Dallas. I think Dallas is really not that good of a team.
Look,
sorry.
Hear me out, Frankie. As a Giants fan, right? When it comes to this Eagles game, we got to remember in that last meeting that we had, the dynamic of Jalen Hurts and his legs were not incorporated in that game plan. So I get kind of worried just thinking about that, okay, now that they're in playoffs, that part of their offense will be included in the game plan. And when you look at how it's worked for us, because look how our offense is thriving now that DJ is able to get out that pocket and use his legs, it makes that offense scary. And we know that when Jalen Hurts is running and he's also passing, the Eagles offense can, put a beating on us, because look what happened in the first meeting when they spanked us. Boston Scott was killing on the ground. Miles Sanders had a career day, and Jalen Hurts was also doing it through the air with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. So I don't want to say like the Eagles don't impress me, because at the end of the day, we haven't impressed our fan base when it comes to the Eagles. So that's why I get a little shaky, because that dynamic of Jalen Hurts using his feet in this playoff game could really change the whole thing for us. So
I agree with you. They weren't on all cylinders, but Jalen Hurts may not even still be on all cylinders. They had the week off, the bye. He could be rusty from being out so long, and if he still has that nagging injury, I don't know. I don't know what his physical status is, but I think between the injury and not playing so much in the last 5 weeks or so could hamper their chances. But you're right. On any given day, Philadelphia could beat the Giants by 28 points. It's very. I can see that too. The Giants haven't been the model of consistency either. But I really like the way they played against Minnesota. They seem like they just played the perfect game.
Yeah.
And so that's it. On the other side, the AFC is really the class of the league. The Buffalo against Cincinnati is going to be a crazy game. Jacksonville squeaked in. I don't know how good that game's going to be, but you never know. Kansas City's, you get that AFC Championship game is going to be great. It doesn't matter who it is.
You make some good points, Rick. You make some good points. Yeah. All we could do is just sit back and watch. Like we said, this has been the weirdest NFL season ever. So
I'm pulling for the Giants. I'm pulling for them, man. I myself counted them out earlier. I said, wait. I didn't even think they'd make the playoffs. 10 weeks in, I didn't think they were going to make the playoffs. But I'm glad they gave us a little more to cheer about this year.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys, thanks for letting me on. We'll talk to you soon.
Frankie, thank you for the call, as always. Any other callers want to get in on the action? 516-572-7440. We're talking about the Giants right now. Only one to really predict the Giants going to the playoffs, as far as I'm concerned, is Corey David.
Yeah.
He said it from the jump, and I got to give him credit. He called winning football. He got winning football. But even like he said yesterday, this was more than him and any other Giants fan could ever expected.
Mm-hmm.
So they go into Minnesota, and I think a big part of that game was the fact that they played Minnesota to a 3-point, 61-yard field goal game winner literally 2 weeks prior. So you had that experience. You knew, the players knew, and Brian Daboll knew, like, we can beat this team. We just need to execute a little better.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Jones had some turnovers. Well, Daniel Jones played turnover-free football, and that was really the difference to win by 7. So if you follow that same line of thinking, if you look at the Eagles and the Eagles game that Frankie brought up, you're playing the Eagles B team, and I know Jalen Hurts, they weren't trying to have him run the football that much, but they only win by 6 against Davis Webb. If I'm Brian Daboll, I'm pulling the same exact motivational tactic I tried this past week with Minnesota. Like, we know we can beat this team. Watch what our B team, our second and third stringers did against the Eagles. If they had everything to play for, when they had everything to play for, the 1 seed, the NFC East title was at stake. Why can't you go into Lincoln Financial Field on a Saturday night and win that game?
Definitely. Listen, the key to coming into that Eagles game and us winning that football game is there's three big keys, right? There's get the run game going, no turnovers, and stop their receivers. Just stop their receivers, because I don't think all game long Miles Sanders and Boston Scott are going to kill us on the ground. I don't think that's going to happen again. No. Miles Sanders is not having over 200 rushing yards on us again, because that was absolutely disgusting. That will not happen again, and I can guarantee you that. And look, the way we do it by getting Saquon going is double teams. That's how our offensive line flourishes, and that's how our run game flourishes. Get Jordan Davis out of the equation early. Get in his head. Don't let him have one single one-on-one opportunity against us, because then it's going to look like Dexter Lawrence against every interior lineman in this league. It's going to get ugly real fast, being that our offensive line isn't like some great offensive line. So I think the utilizing of double teams early and consistently is going to get him out of his game, move up to that second level, get Saquon something, a little bit of space he could work with. Right. And obviously, just keep doing what you're doing with DJ, like not turning that ball over. Don't force it. He never forces anything. He gets out the pocket when he needs to, so I think that's great too. And as for A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, like Eric said, when it comes to stopping like big-name players, like at least get one of them. Like how they played Justin Jefferson in the second half, like have Adoree Jackson on the number one, a lot of safety help on at least one of them. Just make one of their receivers have to try to beat us. And I think we're good. Those are the three main things that I think the Giants should focus on to win this game.
Those are a lot of interesting points, Franz. And one thing I want to get to before we focus on those points was the Giants injury report. So it's funny, the Giants went into last Sunday's game completely healthy. Nobody on the injury report, which was crazy at this point in the season. Mm-hmm. Now you're looking at, they had a practice today, limited practice. Was Landon Collins, Isaiah Hodgins, Adoree Jackson, Julian Love, Fabian Moreau, and Azeez Ojulari. And we saw Jason Pinnock get carted off the field with that ab injury, but he's a full practice.
Yeah.
He came back pretty well and healed pretty fast. So that's the deal. I expect all these guys I just said to play, but both your cornerbacks on the injury list is not what you want. But here's the thing. Say they follow the same game plan, the Giants secondary, that they did on Justin Jefferson. Mm-hmm. Have Adoree Jackson follow A.J. Brown and put safety help over the top. It's going to come down to Julian Love. It's going to come down to guys like, obviously, Moreau. Can you hang with Devontae Smith? Can you hang with Dallas Goedert? Can you hang with those guys one-on-one and still keep Jalen Hurts kind of contained in the run game?
It
sounds like difficult. A lot, but
it's going to be difficult. No doubt about it. It's going to be difficult. Again, like you're saying, Fabian Moreau guarding Devontae Smith. Like
that's what you're gonna have.
You know what I'm saying? We gotta make do with what we have to the best of our ability. But that's all I could really say of how I could picture us winning this game. Shut A.J. Brown down, because every time he steps on the field with Giants, he puts it in pain. You got to give him his flowers. But yeah, man, that's all I could really say on how I think we could possibly pull out with this W.
Yeah, health is obviously number one. Like, all those guys got to play. And then can you execute? Can your guys hold up in one-on-one? Because that's the challenge you have with teams like the Eagles. They have so many weapons. They can beat you in so many ways. It's like your eyes are going like 10 different places. Like, it's impossible to keep up with it. But the Giants do have that advantage of seeing this team for a third time.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to keep that into account. And we'll get into this game a lot more as we go through the week. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, obviously on Friday. Real quick before we move on, though, the Eagles, their injury report, they listed Jalen Hurts as a full participant. So obviously good news for them. Lane Johnson on the offensive line. On the defensive line, Linval Joseph, Robert Quinn limited. Avonte Maddox in practice. So we'll see how that kind of changes shape throughout the week. And we'll see what happens when the game kicks off. I know it's, Saturday? It feels so far away right now, but
it's Tuesday today, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm losing track of the days too.
Like that.
Yeah, it's gonna. I can't believe it. The Giants are in the playoffs and they're playing in the divisional round in this game. They could actually win this game. Like, I can't believe I'm saying that, but that's what it is. Before we move on to the Jets, though, let me remind everybody that you're listening to WHPC Sports Talk on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. Joshua Umahi joined by Eric Williams, Franz Compare, and Brayton Daniello. So, Brayton, what's up, buddy?
Talk about pain and misery. Love what I love to do come Tuesdays. I actually want to talk. I want to talk about LaFleur last Thursday, but then the show ended up getting canceled.
Yeah, if you want to give your thoughts real quick on that, yeah.
Oh, so Mike LaFleur. You know what? Initially, I did say, I'd give him another year, give him a real quarterback, give him like a healthy offense. But when you don't score a touchdown in the final 3 weeks of the season, I mean,
5 points per game in the last
5 points per game. Greg Zuerlein is the only offense. I watch every Jets game the last 3 weeks. Want to gouge my eyes out the second they get into the red zone. The typical Jets game, as we saw down the stretch. So I really shouldn't be shocked. I mean, listen, my greatest fear is well, one, it could always get worse because we have to remember this is the Jets we're talking about, first off. But the second fear with me with this is not only that it could get worse, but nothing's going to change either way because, again, this is the Jets. And, I want to believe like what Eric says or like I think it was Nico last week when they said, oh, Robert Saleh really doesn't trust Zach Wilson, even though he said he did. But the problem is I believe that's the case. The problem is I believe he's going to be back next year and that this team still is going to go nowhere because they don't have a QB. Now, I know you guys talked about maybe the Jets move up. Maybe they draft Bryce Young, which, would be pretty good. The problem that I have with it is, when was the last time this team developed a quarterback through the draft, Josh?
See, you say that, and I get it. You just sat through Sam Darnold and Zach Wilson. I get it. But if you look at Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, like I'm telling you, these guys, everybody knows these guys are going to be good in the NFL. Now, is there a small, 1-2% chance they won't be? Sure.
Well, with the Jets' luck, I mean...
Nah, you're saying that as an emotional Jets fan. I get it, but I'm just saying these guys are the goods.
Listen, and I hope they are. Maybe we draft one. But listen, this team, first off, if you want my opinion, what should Joe Douglas do for the offensive coordinator? I really couldn't tell you. Probably anyone in this room could do better than Mike LaFleur, but that's saying a lot.
I'm cooking up with the Jets offense. I'm saying.
Listen, I make some, been playing pickup football the last couple of days, and I make some plays that work like every time. So
you're not making fadeaway passes?
Nah, definitely not. Well, the kid that's playing quarterback doesn't do that. He has the common sense. Kind of weird that a kid 10 years younger than Zach Wilson maybe doesn't knows a little bit better than him, but we won't talk about that. In terms of what you do finding the next QB, it can't. Well, it says it in that statement. You can't go back out with Wilson unless he miraculously revives his career. Which, spoiler, he won't. Whether you trade for one or you draft one, listen. You're talking about a team that collapsed down the stretch, and we saw the defense. And the Jets' defense can't force turnovers. You see, when you hold the opponent to 11 points a game, turnovers be damned. I don't want to hear it when the offense puts up 6 points and you don't score a touchdown the final 3 weeks of the season. So the defense, which has gotten hate surprisingly because these analysts are jackasses, quite frankly, most of them. And I won't name any of them, but I think we probably know a few. Talking about how the Jets' defense is overrated, which, they might be a tad. They had a few bad games on the stretch, Seattle notably, but that's pretty much the only standout. To put it lightly, the face you're making right now makes so much sense because I have the same reaction when people say this. They have one bad game, they want to throw them under the bus. You realize the Jets how irrelevant this team would be if the defense didn't exist this season?
That's why I'm confused because you really got to
It's amazing how many people don't know what they're talking about when they talk about sports, Josh. It's amazing how one bad game can influence one play. They make one bad play against Detroit as the offense continues to suck. And the guys at WFAN come in the following day, and Charlie, you'll love this because he hates WFAN, and I understand why a little bit.
I mean, we're better.
Yeah, honestly, I mean that isn't very tough. That isn't very tough, but says a lot. But when you come in after they make one bad play, meanwhile your offense looks like a complete joke not the entire season, but most notably the second half during their 6-game losing streak to end the season. You want to come in and you want to bash the defense. How about you get a quarterback or, because aside from the people that still believe in Zach, which there really aren't a lot anymore, trying to now tell me, the third great season at BYU, all this stuff about how, great he is, and it's all BS, quite frankly. Just get me anyone else. Anyone. I don't care. Because he is not the answer. And there's not much more you could, because what did he show me, Josh? What did he show me down the stretch? Being pulled twice, being benched for a 4th-string quarterback. He was replaced twice by Mike White, who actually did pretty good. They didn't even play him in a meaningless game against Miami.
Yeah, they told him to read a book and figure it out.
Yeah, but who did they replace him with? They replaced him with the zombified corpse of Joe Flacco. That's how far he slid.
What you want?
That is. And this guy was a number 2 overall pick, keep that in mind. Meanwhile, the team that drafted first overall that year, because the Jets love to win meaningless games, they shot themselves in the foot again, to no one's surprise. Trevor Lawrence is, on the other side, staring down at the Jets, laughing as he leads his team to a 27-point comeback, which is probably worse than 28-3. I know 28-3 was the Super Bowl, but if you're looking at it in terms of point differential, it was worse.
I love every time we bring 20-3 up on the show.
Poor Justin Herbert, in terms of Chargers. He's snarling at us, watching as his team does this, and now is going to the AFC divisional round. So, just get me anyone else. I do not care anymore. Get me an actual quarterback, and then let me see. Now, if we're sitting at the end of next season and the result is the same when we have an actual QB, I don't care. Take everyone to the gallows, the guillotine. I don't really care, because at that point, there's no excuses. LaFleur, I wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. Salah, I will for now. We get an actual QB and it's the same next year. I'm getting tired of waiting. I don't want it to be 14 years, but knowing this organization, yikes.
Well, all that being said on the quarterback position, we have an interesting tweet I saw from ESPN Radio's. He was actually at WHPC at one point. Brandon Tierney.
Nice.
Does some work on ESPN Radio, like I said. I'm not going to give my source of how I know that, though. I looked on his LinkedIn. It's like nowhere WHPC. He doesn't represent for WHPC. I don't know. Interesting. But here's what he said on the quarterback position. And before I say this, I want to bring up that the Jets are actually the betting favorite to land Lamar Jackson. So before I say this, keep that in mind. Not interested in giving up 2 number ones and big money for Lamar. Number 1. Brady's cooked. Number 2. Lukewarm on Carr. That's his third point. Jimmy G's always hurt. Rodgers? ? Draft not an option for the 2023 starter, so he agrees with you, Braden. Who the hell is playing quarterback for the Jets next season? Zach? Baker?
Oh, God, no. No.
Damn, no love for Baker Mayfield? No love for Baker Mayfield?
No.
He had like a good 2-game stretch.
The man cooked for 2 games. I don't need to see him try and cook the whole season. He's going to burn the kitchen down, bro. Stop.
Bro.
Not in New York. Not in New York,
Baker's not
please. I
cooking.
can't take it.
Honestly, that was like a perfect breakdown of the Jets situation right now.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
But as for Carr, though, like, would you guys say like lukewarm as well?
Oh, I'm always going to be lukewarm on Derek Carr.
Really?
This man, and I bring this up, this man last year in the playoffs, 4th and goal, 7-yard line, this man threw it short of the end zone. The same thing Kirk Cousins did on Sunday. Give your receiver a damn chance. That's who Derek Carr is. He hates taking chances. Now, I get it. He's a good, serviceable, I say that. He's 20 times better than Zach Wilson.
That's saying a lot.
But, I don't know. There's a word I have for Derek Carr. I'm not going to say it, but just give your guys a chance. He doesn't do that enough for me. So I don't know. Jimmy G, same thing. Jimmy G will actually take more chances, but because Jimmy G is only supposed to be a bridge quarterback. But the bridge to what? You're going to have to draft a quarterback in addition to trading for him, probably.
Then have a bridge quarterback that also has a habit of getting injured.
Exactly. So, and the same thing that messed up Zach Wilson is. And it's funny that Robert Saleh and somebody else said this in hindsight, like we should have had somebody mentoring Zach Wilson his rookie year. They should have had Zach Wilson pull a Mahomes. Don't even think about touching the field year 1 because he was a project. He was number 2 overall pick, but he was a project. The fact that he just rushed him into action right away, it kind of shows you where he went wrong in terms of development. So say the Jets draft a quarterback and have a bridge. Jimmy G has gotten hurt before. Derek Carr's gotten hurt before. Even if they trade and go all in for Lamar Jackson, he's missed the last 5 games the last 2 years. So I hate to rain on Jets fans' parade. What parade?
Yeah, what parade?
I don't think y'all having a parade.
What damn parade, please?
I don't think y'all having a parade, but it's still, they're in a good spot to get a quarterback. There's a lot of questions that come with each one of these guys. If it was my choice, I'd go Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, I think
because he's a star quarterback.
Yeah.
Now, what you would have to give up for him would probably be exponential, but compared to what your QB situation is now, you have any idea how probably desperate is Joe Douglas is to find a QB?
Oh, yeah, he knows like his job security, and I know he got away with this past season because I know he drafted Zach Wilson, but overall he's been a good drafter.
No, he's been great. He's built a team that was probably a QB away from the playoffs, but therein lies the point. You burned a premium draft pick on a guy who really is not that good, and that's the problem. That's what's holding this team back. So now he has to do something to, I don't know, I want to say get the fan base back on his side because I really haven't turned on him, But he has to make a move to show this fan base that, okay, we're going to be serious about trying to make a push for the playoffs next season. Here's what we're going to do. We have to upgrade the QB position. I don't know what you do at offensive coordinator.
Yeah,
but you need to make a move for a QB, bro. It can't be Zach Wilson. If it's Zach Wilson, I don't think anyone... It's going to be tough to be excited for next season if you're a Jets fan, if it's still Zach Wilson.
Okay, so let me ask this. Lamar comes to town. Do you think that makes the Jets a Super Bowl contender if Lamar Jackson is their QB?
I don't know about Super Bowl. Definitely playoff contender, I would think. I don't know about Super Bowl.
I say yes.
You say yes.
Because think about it. And I think me and Eric were talking about this for a little bit before the show. Like, if you look at the AFC, like if Tom Brady, for example, wanted to go back to the AFC.
Yeah, they're going to stomp on him.
Burrow, Herbert, Mahomes,
bro.
Lawrence, Allen. No chance. If you want to win in the AFC, and especially if you're the Jets, you have everything else. You definitely need Breece Hall healthy.
Yeah.
You need to fix the offensive line, but you have everything else, especially on defense. If you want any chance of winning in the AFC, it's got to be Lamar Jackson.
Okay. So
It has to be.
If anybody out there even thinks no, like not going to be a Super Bowl contender, then my thing is, why even do it? I would take that risk on a Jimmy G or a Derek Carr and then just draft the quarterback, because we're saying how developing the young quarterback was the problem. He got rushed into a situation that he couldn't handle. So I say, if you're going to drop all that on Lamar and not even confident of him making your team a Super Bowl contender, then just go the safer route and develop that QB that you guys like haven't done in the past. You guys made that mistake with Sam Darnold. You guys made that mistake with Zach. So now just fix your mistake and do what you were meant to do before, instead of investing in somebody you don't even believe is going to make you a championship contender. That's how I would see it. But for people that say yes, then shoot, go all out. But I'm just trying to let y'all see it from two different perspectives, like get another situation out there. That's how I see it. Because I don't think Lamar comes to the Jets and makes them a Super Bowl contender.
It's definitely a question. I say yes, you say no. It's a debate.
They're definitely going to be a playoff team.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. But like we said, I don't know.
The Jets, they got a lot of questions to answer. I don't know if they can answer them all. And the Jets fans, like, I know Braden comes in, he represents the voice of Jets fans right now so well. So think about that. Jets fans have Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, Zach Wilson, if he's still going to be on the team. He has all those guys. Jets fans have all those guys on notice. Like, you can't go into next year and... No, forget that. Next year, you have to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
You got to make the playoffs. If you miss the playoffs again, heads are going to roll.
Yeah.
As they should.
Yeah.
Why should we be patient anymore? I mean, we've been patient for 13 damn years. I mean, like, and it gets to a point, like, yeah, I know young talent and stuff, but, like, I hate to sound like the stereotypical New York fan, but really, because you said, like, I represent most Jet fans. Why should we think anything's going to be different? Because we've been waiting for so damn long. Why should we believe? Like, at least with some of my sports teams, like the Mets choked this year, but at least they show me it could be a little bit different by making the playoffs, getting 101 wins. The Rangers, at least they show me they can make the playoffs, they can go on deep runs. What have the Jets shown me? What have I don't even remember. I don't even vividly remember the last time this team made the playoffs, Josh. Think about that. And I'm 20 now. Think about that.
You got to go all the way back to...
Yeah, exactly. You see my point. I was 6 or 7 years old. I don't remember exactly. Probably 7. The last time this team was in the playoffs. I was in elementary school.
The longest playoff drought in the NFL right now.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Trevor Lawrence, let's not talk about him now, right? Zach Wilson is the answer. Yeah, shut up. No. Please.
Hey, maybe you can still get Justin Fields. We talked about that yesterday.
Man, you want to rant on the Knicks, Josh?
Oh, yeah, sure. You ain't got to ask me.
That team is something
It's
else,
a great transition.
Oh, the New York Knicks, what can you say? That's a good segue to basketball. So, we caught the end of the game here in the studio. It was Nico's Raptors and my Knicks.
Like it's
Nico's
always a
Raptors.
freaking dogfight with the Raptors, bro.
I don't understand.
I don't know what it is either.
They stink. But this is what I'm saying. Because any mid-team or player can just walk into Madison Square Garden. Man, Scotty Barnes is having like one of the worst sophomore years I've ever seen in my life.
Literally.
He's going to talk to Quentin Grimes. You is not him.
You is not him. Bro,
not him.
At that point, Quentin, you just got to get suspended. You got to give him a... right across the face. Because there's no way he's
There's no
pointing
way.
in your face talking about you is not him. Like, this man is literally getting dogged by Toronto because they're thinking he's not him. And he's going to turn around and tell you, you're not him.
So there's There's Scotty Barnes. Fred VanVleet has been sleepwalking this entire year. You'll put this man on a parlay, he'll come up 10 points short every time. But when he plays the Knicks, at Madison Square Garden, he's going to drop clutch 3 after clutch 3. 30 points yesterday.
And you know what it is, bro? We knew this was going to happen. It was a give or take with getting somebody like Brunson. It's making your team more of a defensive liability. We knew it was going to happen. But now it's all about, are these points that they make going to make up for it? You know what I'm saying? And for the most part, I want to say it has been, because, you know, we're getting a lot of 30-point games, 40-point games from Brunson and Randall. But at the same time, it's like, when it comes down to that last second, none of these guys take high percentage shots.
No.
They're not Kobe, so if they do take a low percentage shot, it's not going in. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you suck on defense. Yeah, you scored 35 throughout the whole game, but nobody on this team is the closer. Nobody on this team is the closer, and that's what we keep missing. You know what I'm saying? Like, JB, you think he's that guy to be the closer. You would think so. Great set of moves, but nah. He gets to the last second, and he takes the shot of, like, I don't know, a 5th grade basketball player in the AAU season. Like,
yeah. And
I don't know.
I was so mad. I was texting in my group chat like, yo, please don't tell me we had a timeout on that last shot. Please don't. We had a timeout. We had a timeout.
But it was like, once Brunson started dribbling the ball, you would have had to take it out from all the way down on the other side of the court, which you still have 4 seconds left. But
like, what's the rush? I know he wants to make something happen, but if you know you have a timeout, and Jalen Brunson's usually like aware of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know. The Knicks, obviously, RJ Barrett played well, had that crazy dunk, and the refs missed an N1, by the way, that RJ should have been at the line to win the game.
I'm saying, Ray, he was grabbing his whole arm.
Yeah, Scotty Barnes.
Scotty Barnes, not him.
Not him. Brunson, I know he had 26 points. He took 29 shots. So it's funny, and I have this take where it's like the mid 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess they're mid because only 2 of them can play well at one time. Because if RJ and Randall are cooking, you know Brunson's going to be off. If Brunson and Randall are cooking, you know RJ's going to be off. It's the same. Only 2 of them can cook at one time. I don't understand why all 3 of them just can't have good games together. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what it is. And then another thing, like, looking at this topic sheet is upsetting me because when we talk about trades, the names I'm seeing here are laughable. Alex Caruso. What is Alex Caruso going to do for this organization right now?
Eric Gordon don't move you either?
No.
I think the only names on that list are Eric Gordon and Alex Caruso that I can laugh at, but guys that can help you, Gary Trent, Kyle Kuzma.
Okay.
I want Gary Trent. I'll tell you I want
Gary Trent, yes. But Kyle Kuzma, I feel like, could be laughable because there's no consistency, I feel like, sometimes with Kuzma. That's the only thing I'm going to say. Sometimes Kuzma could be inconsistent. And right now, we need somebody that's consistent. And yeah, Randall, but when I say consistency, I'm talking about consistency when it comes to closing, because we blow 4th quarter leads like it's our job. So
crazy.
Do I see Kyle Kuzma coming in and being that guy who's going to keep us head above water in the 4th quarter? I really don't know. The only person I would trust is Tobias Harris. He's that great-minded veteran, understands the game, and he's a bucket. He does it on both ends of the court, so I would trust Tobias Harris. But honestly, Gary Trent, of course, young talent. But the fact that I'm even looking at Eric Gordon and Alex Caruso is really laughable because that's a slap in the face. What do you think I'm going to do with Eric Gordon and Alex Caruso? Like, don't get me mad.
I mean, here's the thing. Eric Gordon definitely doesn't move me like that. Alex Caruso, I mean, he's a defensive guy. He can shoot the 3 occasionally. I mean, he'd be a bench piece. My issue is Tom Thibodeau, obviously. After that game, they blew the 21-point lead to Dallas. That was the first lead they blew to Dallas. We only got to talk about the 9-point lead with 30 seconds left.
Oh, my God.
That was the first game they blew, and the Knicks were 10-13, I believe, and Tom Thibodeau was really on the hot seat.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, he benches Evan Fournier, Derrick Rose, Cam Reddish, free Cam Reddish.
Free Cam Reddish, for sure.
Benches all 3 of them, goes to 8-man rotation. 8-man rotation. And they go on a winning streak. They win 8 straight. They went on to lose 5 straight. They've won 8 of the last 10, even with this loss yesterday. So the rotation is working. Shortening the rotation, taking Fournier and Rose out is working. But this is unsustainable because there are 2 main reasons I feel like the Knicks blow all these leads. Number one, like you said, there's really no closer like that. Brunson is our best closer, but he's 5'11" on a good day. So there's only so much he can do. Yeah. And you look at R.J. Barrett, but he's playing 40 minutes. Randall's playing 40, 41 minutes a night. Mm-hmm. They're not finishing games because these guys are tired. Yeah. You can't play 40 games. This is a back-to-back situation. They played yesterday in Detroit. These are heavy minutes these guys are playing. You can't keep going with a 7. Yesterday was a 7-man rotation. On the second night of a back-to-back. Tibbs is a criminal. You can't do that. He's going to try Derrick Rose Part 2 with Jalen Brunson.
Literally.
That's inexcusable in January. You can't run a 7-man playoff rotation in January. So that's why I want to see just make a trade, bring somebody that can help at least.
Yeah.
Because at this point, you're 25-20. You're 6th in the East. Oh, Donovan Mitchell's Cavaliers are right above you. That's cute. Just pointing it out.
I wanted to talk about that real quick. Speaking of trades, I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
So let's take it all the way back to when these first Donovan Mitchell trade rumors were coming out, right?
Yeah.
Let's say that trade does go through. We give up RJ. Let's say we give up RJ. We give up IQ. We give up Toppin and like 2 first-rounders, 3 first-rounders. No, 3, because they were asking for like 5.
Yeah.
So let's say we give up 3 first-rounders, right? Forget the picks. No RJ, no Toppin, no IQ. Who's our starting lineup? JB, right? Donovan Mitchell, Juju, Mitchell Robinson. Who's at the 4? Or would it be Cam at the 3, Juju at the 4?
It would have to be Cam.
Okay. Now Cam at the 3, Juju at the 4. Where's our bench?
No, you're right. It's here's the thing. You're right in terms of I think the Knicks would be right where it's funny that the Cavaliers are 5 and the Knicks are 6 for this conversation because I think the Knicks would be around the same place.
Really?
They'd probably switch places, but because Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, and this version of Randall, it's not a mid-3, it's a big 3. That's a big 3.
That's a big 3?
It's a big 3. So if you look at that, but again, the bench would be depleted. And, RJ's playing well lately. I don't know. They have a better future because you have the superstar, right? Mm-hmm. But in terms of this season right now, before any trades are made, I think they'd be about in the same spot.
You think they would?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. I'm really, questioning where we would be because we're kind of in the same situation we are now because the defense would be the problem. Not saying, Donovan's going to bring more points to the table than RJ, but look at RJ, a good defender, and our team sucks defensively now. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like, although we do get Donovan and get more offense, defense is still the problem. And on top of that, our bench is even worse because we have no IQ. We have no Toppin at this point. So it's like, what's going on here? Yeah, we're going to put up mad points, but these guys are still probably going to play big minutes, and we're still probably going to get cooked. So I really don't know. I don't know where we would be, but I just wanted to see where your head was at if that trade did go through.
So I know this is a sin in radio. I'm going to change my mind real quick because something just clicked in my mind. I think the Knicks would be as high as 3rd and 4th.
Really?
Because think about all the games they've lost. If they had just a closer late in the game like a Donovan Mitchell, I can point to 5 blown leads in the second half, fourth quarter. I can literally go down the line. If we have Donovan Mitchell, we win at least 4 of those games. This guy is a closer personified. He's not scared of the moment. He's small, but he can get his own shot from anywhere on the floor. He's a 3-level scorer. I mean, it's a moot point because it didn't happen. I know the trade deadline's coming up. The Knicks aren't going to trade for a star, I don't think.
Yeah.
This trade deadline. You're going to look in the offseason for that. I know Zach LaVine was rumored, but is Zach LaVine really moving the needle for this Knicks team?
Honestly, I wouldn't be mad at that.
I wouldn't be either. I know a few people that would be, but I wouldn't be mad just for the sake that you have a scorer. The only concern with Zach LaVine is, number one, the contract and the knees.
Injuries, yeah.
But he's been healthy lately and he's been killing it. The Bulls they've surged all the way to the 10th seed. From where they were before, that was we didn't know that was going to happen.
Crazy. But you make a good point with the Donovan being the closer.
Yeah, that's all.
You do make a good point with that.
Because this team's 11-12 at home.
Yeah, that's weird. We're a better road team than we are. a better home team. I think it was like that last season as well.
Exact same thing. I don't know why. Well, I know why. It's because any eighth guy off the bench can just walk into Madison Square Garden and feel completely comfortable and drop a career high. Shout out Joe Ingles with that season high. Blew me the other day. I was like, what? What is happening? Joe Ingles, his 45-year-old self? We're talking about Tom Brady.
Maybe it's the Trae Young curse. Maybe after Trae Young killed us in the playoffs, everybody just thought it was okay to come violate Madison Square Garden.
It's just the norm now. It's just the norm. But we're talking about the Eastern Conference. Obviously, we got to get to the other team real quick. The Brooklyn Nets. So they had won 13 straight games. Then they lose last Thursday to Boston, which we're going to come back to. They lost Sunday to OKC. And Timothée Chalamet and Josh Giddey.
Oh, my God.
Yo, Josh Giddey is like, I don't know, he's super fundamental bucket. I'm like, but like he's giving 30 out?
I didn't see that coming.
Piece?
I thought he was going to be like a Ben Simmons. Just give his little points when he can, but be an all-around player.
I could see that.
I didn't see Josh Giddey coming into Barclays Center and dropping 30.
Yeah, and he's not even like he's saucing guys up. He's literally like cutting to the basket, making the right passes, pick and roll. I like his style of play. It's really old school, but it gets the job done. Very effective.
It's funny because Josh Giddey and Ben Simmons, both Australian. So I brought up the Thursday loss to Boston. We got to talk about Ben Simmons because this man had a stat line I couldn't believe, even for Ben Simmons.
I know which one you're talking about.
What was his stat line?
He double, rebounds, assists.
0 points.
0 points.
0 points.
He took 3 shots with Kevin Durant out.
That's a Ben Simmons stat line.
With Kevin Durant out, you got to do more than that.
I don't understand how you could go from coming into the league, averaging about like 16, 15 points first 3 years, and then back hurts, fall down the stairs, all of a sudden your career's gone at the snap of a finger. It makes me sad to think about that. I don't know what it is. Why can't you just lay the ball in the rim? I really want to have a one-on-one conversation with him over some Starbucks. Like, bro, what's going on here, bro? I don't even drink Starbucks, but like, I just want to talk to him, bro.
Over
like
a chai latte?
like, yeah, a little venti cup, whatever they call it. Like, I don't even know why he can't just simply post up how he used to, like get a little baby hook going. I don't know what it is, bro. It's really scary.
It is scary. It's scary in every sense of the word. Like, I don't understand. You're 6'10", 250, and I hate to pile on Ben Simmons because he actually is a really good player still, even without the scoring.
Yeah.
If Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are both on the floor, have 9 rebounds, get 13 assists all you want. I have no problem with that. The fact that Kevin Durant is down and all the attention is going to be on Kyrie Irving, who always needs a superstar to hold his hand. 0 points. I'm looking at the stat line right now. He had 5 fouls, 0 points, took 3 shots. You can't. And he says the right things post game, like, yo, I got to do better. You know, I got to put the ball in the basket. Like, I have to be a scorer with Kevin Durant now. He's saying all the right things, but I hear your words, but where are your actions?
Yeah.
And if you look at tonight's game in San Antonio sucks. They're in the Wemby sweepstakes.
Yeah.
Give me a. I'm not even asking for much. This is the sad part about Ben Simmons. I'm ecstatic as a Nets fan if he gives me 15 points tonight. 15 points and just be aggressive.
Yeah.
That's what we're asking for a number 1 overall pick.
It's crazy, bro, because think about it. Even in this game, he scores, 7 points, 8 points with the 13 assists, 9 rebounds. They win the game, and Ben Simmons is getting praised. If you really think about it, all just with a change of a little 7 points, because that's the difference right there. They come out with the W, and then on top of that, he went crazy on the boards and diming it up. You know what I'm saying? So just the bare minimum, everybody's going to be happy with Ben Simmons. But if you just could give us 10 points a game, everybody would be like, wow, he's on the right track. Everybody would love Ben Simmons. If he could just average like 10 points a game, people would think Ben Simmons is coming back, being himself again, and that would build his confidence. But it's just like you said, like, where's the aggression? You only shot 3 shots.
It's just, I don't understand how you can get psyched out of your game that quickly.
And he had that stretch earlier in the season where it was about like 3 games in a row. I want to say he went double digits.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, maybe I wasn't wrong. Ben Simmons is he's making me look good. And then boom. It just back to normal.
with all his mental stuff going on, I really do root for that kid, but you just have to give me more. If the Nets have all their guys healthy and Kevin Durant comes back, they could actually win a championship. They actually could. I'm not just saying that to say it. They actually could, because I like what they have going on in terms of the roster. But they need Ben Simmons to step up. So,
as for the Nets though in their championship, they're an iso ball kind of team. And I seen something where it was like Steve Kerr made the Warriors who they are. Although they have so many superstars, he made sure that offense meshed well. Do you think that because the Brooklyn Nets are an iso ball team, like their playoff run could be cut short abruptly, like nobody expects? Like, we expect it to go far the way KD and Kyrie are performing, but do you think it could come to an abrupt ending, being that they're an iso ball team in a league where, teams play great together?
Yeah.
They're probably like the most like iso ball team that stands out.
You know what I'll say? Because I'm looking at the East standings right now. So the Nets, I think they're going to be stuck in the 2-3 range. If they get the Cavs in the first round, obviously I could say the Knicks, but let's be for real.
Yeah. Playing team.
If they get the Cavs in the first round, that could be tough because the Cavs play a different brand of basketball. They move the ball up and down the court. The Nets, I like the way they were playing on offense before Kevin Durant got hurt, but like you said, there's always a setback with this team. So it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously, Kevin Durant's going to miss 2 more weeks, I think, at least. So we'll see where the Nets wind up in that stretch. Kyrie Irving's going to have to do more, too. Before we get out of here, though, I want to give a hockey update regarding the local teams, the state of the season. Brayden, you have the Rangers hat on.
Yeah.
You don't seem very...
No, well, you see, you think after a win I would be enthusiastic, but, like Ross always says, and like me and Nico always rant, the Rangers can't play a full 60 minutes. If it could get any worse, it came against it was against the worst team in the Eastern Conference. So that compounded with the fact that, they lost to another crappy team in Montreal this weekend. I'm not the most thrilled. They need to show me more. At least the offense scored last night because they vanished for the last week. I'll actually say something on the Islanders.
All right.
Why are you... First off, you can't blow a 3-0 lead to a team you're chasing in the wild card race. Second off, why do you allow Alex Ovechkin, who as great as he is, and he's the greatest goal scorer of this generation, allow him to bitch J.G. Pajot, destroy him? Pajot almost has a chance to win the game, but then on top of the fact that you allow him to absolutely try and commit a homicide on him, then allow the Capitals to score 4 straight goals and win the game. So it's a great day for New York hockey, just phenomenal. I know I don't want Gerard Gallant fired at all. I don't hate this team's offense whatsoever, and the Islanders are being the Islanders, so yay.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at the Rangers lately.
Yeah, but they don't move the needle, Josh. That's the problem. And me and Ross will say the same thing. They're not the team from last year, and I don't know if it's just Gallant is a fraud, which, spoiler, he is. But this team's offense is abysmal. This team would probably, in the last couple of weeks, probably lost about 90% of the games they played without Adam Fox and Keandre Miller. With the defense is the vocal point of the offense. Think about that. And I know they're offensive defensemen, but no. You mean to tell me with an offense full of top draft picks and all these big free agent signings, you'd think a few of them would decide to show up every now and then, but they're sitting back and watching a guy who probably will win the Norris Trophy and the breakout defenseman of the year carry the load for them, so yay.
Hey, the Rangers, Braden's kind of lukewarm on them right now, but 25-13-7, they're third in the Metropolitan. We'll see if they can keep it going. I believe they play next game Thursday, right?
Correct, against the top team in the league, yay.
All right, we'll see what happens. It's a good litmus test for the Rangers.
Yeah.
For today, though, we'll call it a show on WHPC Sports Talk. From myself, Joshua Umahi, Eric Williams, Franz Compere, and Braden Danielle, we'd like to thank you once again for listening to the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.